starting with the prologue. He is a courtly man, elegant, with old-world manners. He bows when he meets you, stands when you leave, makes sure that you're comfortable, and makes no mention of the fact that he's not. The discreet stroking of worry beads he carries in his pocket gives the game away. By inclination, he's a private man, rather shy, but if probing is required, he'll put his feet in the stirrups with dignity and humour. He chooses his words carefully, like a poet or a politician, with a habit of precision, an ear for their sound, and a talent and a taste for deflection and mystery. He's always like smoke and mirrors, and yet there's something conspiratorial in the way he talks, as there is when he sings, as if he were imparting an intimate secret. He's a trim man, there's no excess to him at all, smaller than you might think, ship-shape. You imagine he wouldn't find it hard to wear a uniform. Right now, he's wearing a suit. It's dark, pinstripe, double-breasted, and if it's off the rack, it doesn't look it. Darling, says Leonard, I was born in a suit. And fast forward to another short bit. It's hard to find short bits from here. I kept finding passages I wanted to read, and they were all about 50 pages long. So this is basically your free primer to how to be Leonard Cohen. I think my next book, if it's not Men Are From Mars, Leonard is from Montreal, will be 50 Shades of Leonard, if I feel like. This is the primer, then. Leonard for Dummies. In his early teens, Leonard developed a keen interest in hypnosis. He acquired a slim, pocket-sized, anonymously written book with the title 25 Lessons in Hypnotism, How to Become an Expert Operator. And the extravagant claim of being, quote, the most perfect, complete, easily learned and comprehensive course in the world, embracing the science of magnetic healing, telepathy, mind-reading, clairvoyant hypnosis, mesmerism, animal magnetism, and kindred sciences. I actually found this book in his archive. I've read it. I know the secrets. But back to the elegant writing. On the front cover, beneath a crude sketch of a Victorian lady held spellbound by a well-haired gentleman, Leonard wrote his name in ink in his best handwriting and set about his studies. It turned out Leonard had a natural talent, finding instant success with domestic animals. He had this old dog, little black terrier called Tinky. You can't really imagine Leonard going and Tinky, really can. Immediately flat out on its back, legs akimbo. Back to the nice writing. Finding instant success with domestic animals, he moved on to the domestic staff, recruiting as his first subject the family maid. At his direction, the young woman sat on the Chesterfield sofa, and Leonard drew a chair alongside. As the book instructed, he told her in a slow, gentle voice to relax her muscles and look into his eyes. Picking up a pencil, he moved it slowly in front of her face, back and forth, and succeeded in putting her in a trance. Disregarding or depending on one's interpretation, following the author's directive that his teachings should only be used for educational purposes, Leonard instructed the maid to undress. Everybody should sing Hallelujah. A moment. Because, I mean, you think what a moment it must have been for that kid then. I think he did it. I'm sure she just took it, unbuttoned two things, and that was enough for him. The successful fusion of arcane wisdom and sexual longing to sit beside a naked woman in his own home, convinced he made this happen simply by talent, study, mastery of an art, and imposition of his will. When he found it difficult to awaken her, Leonard started to panic. He was terrified his mother would come home and catch them. Though one imagines this was simply about it a sense of impending doom, despair, and loss to the heady mix, which would make it even more exquisitely Leonard Cohen-esque. Chapter 2 of the book might have been written as career advice to the singer and performer Leonard would become. It cautioned against any appearance of levity and instructed, quote, your features should be set, firm, and stern. Be quiet in all your actions. Let your voice grow lower, till just above a whisper. Pause a moment or two. You will fail if you try to hurry. When Leonard recreated the episode in his 20s in The Favourite Game, his first novel, he wrote, quote, he had never seen a woman so naked. He was astonished, happy, and frightened before all the spiritual authorities of the universe. Then he sat back to stare. This is what he had waited so long to see. He He wasn't disappointed, and never has been. Although it's ascribed to as a fictionalized alter ego, it's hard to imagine these sentiments were not Leonard's own. Decades later, he will still say, quote, "I don't think a man ever gets over that first sight of the naked woman. I think that's Eve standing over him. That's the morning and the dew on the skin. And I think that's the major content of every man's imagination. All the sad adventures in pornography and love and song are just steps on the path towards that holy vision." The maid, incidentally, was a ukulele player. I love this bit. An instrument his fictional alter ego took for a lute, and the girl, by extension, for an angel. And everybody knows naked angels possess a portal to the divine. In celebration of having outed Leonard as a former ukulele player himself, and having heard from him that he took a guitar on stage as a prop when he gave poetry readings, I've been taking my ukulele out and playing a song of his. So I'm going to do, I'm not sure what I'll do tonight. I'll make it up on the spot. Or rather, he's made it up, but I'll make up which of his made up songs I'll do. Is there a ukulele in the house? That sounds remarkably interesting.
It's okay.
Well, that sounds remarkably interesting. We can stop now. It's going to go downhill.
It's a note. It's okay.
Yeah, there we go. Oops. Come over here, make it easier for me. Okay, since I started at the beginning of the book, we'll start with the beginning of his music career then and do Suzanne. Anybody who wants to sing along or jump on stage and play anything is very welcome. That's loud. Suzanne takes you down to a place near the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her. And you know that she's half crazy, but that's why you want to be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. And just when you mean to tell her that you have no love to give her, she gets you on her wavelength and lets the river answer that you've always been her lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know that she will trust you, for you've touched her perfect body with your mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from his lonely wooden tower. When he knew for certain only drowning men could see him, he said all men will be sailors then, until the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken long before the sky would open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like stone. And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Now Suzanne takes your hand and leads you to the river. She is wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army canters, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor, and she shows you where to look among the